Hello together. Hello, Robert.
Hello, Klaus. Hello together.
We are today. We are not both here, but not in the same room. So Robert is online joining us, and I'm still in our office on our standard place.
Yep, I'm here in a hotel lobby, and not far away, by the way, but I'm on a workshop. And yeah, putting myself into it via remote. So it works quite well in the German edition today at 10. So let's hope that we also have now a good connection and a good presentation again. And also to mention, this is our 50th episode, Klaus.
Yes. It's really a little bit of crazy when you think about. We started in 21 in March of 21. We started with our first episode, and now we are at the 50th, and we're still looking forward for the next 50.
Yeah, you can also, by the way, you can check out all the 50 episodes of FunWithRelux on YouTube. We have a YouTube channel called Relux, and there you can have also all the FunWithRelux episodes checking out again and viewing it. And it's interesting also how the old episodes, how we changed in aging. Also interesting to see. Okay, so Klaus, what is the topic today?
The topic today is sorry. Okay, the topic today is about sport. In springtime, we have also a FunWithRelux with sports, where we talked about in general about what we are working actually on, and now we have a beta version of the sports program available, and we are still working on this beta version, but we want to present it to you and showing what is new inside of the program, how we have realized some of the points we presented in the springtime. And yes, so for that reason, there is a lot which I will show, and for that I will start to share my screen. Just a moment. Okay, you should see now a ReluxDesktop program, and I have already prepared a simple scene, exterior scene. It's just an empty scene. I've just pre-select some luminaires so that it will go a little bit faster in that step, so that I don't have to select specific luminaires. And the first, what I will say about it, the new sports UI, it's already active here. It's the sports ribbon. We have here one additional new ribbon in it, and in this additional ribbon you will find specific commands which are related to sports lighting in general. There are actually some controls or some functions in it which are not only in the future, maybe in the future it will not only available for sports lighting, it will also available for every kind of Relux calculation. But we use the sports lighting, our actual development, to implement these functionalities inside of the Relux desktop. And the first one which I want to show is that we have now the possibility to use light control, that we can use light scenes inside of the Relux calculation, and we can start by adding here control groups and light scenes. I will just, in my short example, just starting with two of them, and you will have then here the light control tree. It includes now two control groups. They are empty at the moment. Later in the process, when we have luminaires inside of it, we can add them to the luminaire groups, and also then for the dimming, we have the possibility then later here to choose the dimming per control group. And not only the dimming, it is also possible to change the colors and yes, the colors and controlling the RGB values, and also latest then the white channel of the LEDs, if there are including this kind of color dimmable or color changeable effects inside of it.
Yeah. And control group is something where you can group a bunch of luminaires together to be dimmed together. This is more from the stage lighting. You can have a group of luminaires which you can dim together. Ideally, you can have any single luminaire one control groups, and you can dim it all individually. But in reality, you have groups of luminaires you put together to act in one dimming element, and the light scene is the dimming level of all the control groups. This is the difference between lighting scene and control group. Maybe if you're starting with this, this is maybe new for you. But if you are used to dimming or making light scenes, you can jump in quite easily. It should be easy to adapt.
Yeah. And also later it will be possible to have store the calculation results for each light scene. So in the past it was only possible that you have only one calculation inside of in a stored Relux project. You will have only one calculation situation, and you have to modify your project and recalculate and store it again to have another one. And now you have the possibility to change your dimming settings. For example, here for my light scene turn, then I can calculate all the light scene in once, and then store the project, and then the calculation results for all the light scenes are available afterwards. You are also not only limited what you are starting in the beginning, you can also add here more control groups or more light scenes here inside of this panel. Okay, but now I will come to the more spot-specific points and modifications we have in the program. In the past, we have only three kind of sports field, sports area in the program. This was the football field, the tennis field, and we called it racetrack here in the ribbon insert. And only these three will be available. Now we will have changed this here. You will find it here, a button which is called sports area. And by pressing these buttons, you have now the possibility to select a lot of various sports classes, sports types. For example, like here, the American football, or we have at least here our standard football field, soccer field, and or the tennis field as you know it. But also, for example, here rugby is also a nice picture about this. And we have stored this, we have made an interface so that from outside we can add additional sports patterns and sports classes without modifying the program, the code of the program. So it will be very helpful and easy in the future to add more sports types of sport, and also more classes or more standards in general. At the moment, we have the focus on the EN 12193, but in the final, you will have also here the possibility to select, for example, UEFA and some more national standards about sports lighting. But in the beginning, we start with them. In this place here, I will choose for my example the football field. And this is more or less just informative, which is defined in the standard. So in the 12193, we have the definition of PA, which is it's not a playing area, it is the
principal area.
The principal area. And for each, we have three classes. On various levels, so it's the question of the design of the spiels, if I need 500, 200, or 75. And it also specifies for some types of sports a class TA, a total area. And they may have different sizes inside of the thing. Also, you have optionally the possibility, if it is broadcasting is required, you can also add, according to the standard, a simple TV broadcast event or a major broadcast event. The difference is just the level of the vertical illuminances and also the gradient calculations in this context. So I will add one of these just to show later what happens there with the results. And then in the next step, I can simply place it here on my area, as you know it from the other sides. Let me hide so that you can see now this is the surface, the real surface. It will also be responsible for the reflection if there are buildings around or something like that, or if you want to have an obtrusive light calculation for the UFR value, for example, then this area is responsible for the reflection. And here you can, if you need, you can change the material, maybe select a texture or something like that. The sports area by itself, and it is the measuring area, and in it includes, it's a kind of group node, which includes the PR and the TR in the case that we need the TA, the PA and the TA in this type of sport. Then we have at next the possibility now and to make an access, and we have made a kind of small assistant which helps you to make in an easy way a kind of auto placing, or it's a auto placing is not really the correct word. It is a little bit more it's a kind of assistant for this. And there you have the possibility to choose typical arrangements for sports areas, and you have the possibility to create a kind of arrangement for a sports field. And you have here the possibility, for example, with 5 or 6. You can create it with a pole, which includes a pole, or without a pole. So it's just a line, which is typically used for stadiums when they are mounted on the roof or anywhere else. You have here the possibilities to change the settings. These are the default settings for the distance between the luminaires and maybe the material of the pole. I've chosen now our magenta color from Relux. It is, I guess it's not really a realistic color for the pole, but just to show you that it is here possible. But you are not limited to these options. You have also the possibility to choose these free, where you are free to configure, for example, 5 to 5 and create them. Then you will have much larger, so there is not a limit or something like that. But this is just a kind of arrangement which are used in many situations, in typical situations of smaller sports ground in typical public communities or something like that. And then in this dialog, you will have the possibility to see the kind of arrangement. We can use this edge arrangement or this by side arrangement. The dialog will give you here, if I reduce this value here, you will see it's spread to red because there is a limitation. You should not place the luminaires inside of an angle of 15 degrees. And this can be controlled. It will not be forbidden to do this. So you are free to do it if you want, but it assists you to take care that you don't go out of this limit. Okay, this on this point. Then when I place it, we are here in our edit view, and just a moment, just please. I've just to close and to reopen it again. There is a small issue which is The next major thing we have included here is now a kind of real time. It's not really real time, but it's a very fast calculation, so that you can directly show your results inside of the Relux on the sports ground or the measuring grids, and by simply clicking here this button. And when I click this button, the interactive mode will be activated, and I will see here now the results directly in this windows. And I have the possibility, this is also new, we have here our modification tools, and we have here we have the aim. This is also existing in the older program versions, but we have now new this adjust tool. And this allows me not only to click the luminaire, I can click on the arrow and simply move it. And also in the case that I have a mirrored situation, which I have typically in the situation as I created it, then we will just by clicking, and then we will have in a short time a react and see how the values are changed. The sports classes can be chosen here. Now we have 3 classes in our typically in our standard, and we can choose here in which situation. So I will not use the highest level. I just need the second level for light scene 1, and for example the second one for light scene 2. I must apologize. We have here the possibility to change now for the control groups, the dimming level, but we realize that we have actually a small bug, and it always jumps back. So this is a simple bug. We will fix it immediately, and in the next time when we publish this, the next beta version, it will not include it being in the program. The next essential point, which is different to the old version. In the old version, we already have also this possibility to show here table values or false colors in it, but it was only possible to select one kind of result because it was placed here in the top, and now it is here placed in the window, and I can simply select another result. For example, here I have now switched to one of the vertical illuminance results, which are required by using the broadcast option for this class. And also very most important, very important is now we are not only limited to one window. We have also the possible. It's a little bit hard to see this on the small screen. But on a large screen, there's no problem. For example, if we have here, so now this 4 views, and I can now choose, for example, this window. Let me select only 2 windows. Here, so this one. So we have now here the horizontal values as a table value, and here, for example, I can switch to the RG table. The glare rating table. Here it needs just a short second to make this calculation, and then we can here check the glare values, and still on this side the illuminance values. Also new is the possibility to show the gradient values, which is also a new calculation type, which is now included into the program, which shows here, for example, the points where you have trouble with this gradient values in areas of your sports field. Here in this window, we are now seeing at the moment the gradient as it is calculated by the CEA value, because this is mentioned in the standard EN 12193. But it will also be possible here to use the let's say Here we have now the gradient calculation. So it is possible not only to use it if you use the standard, you can also change this manually by yourself if you want to edit. And here we have also the possibility to switch to the Mauer as it is documented for the UEFA and FIFA standards for football lighting in football stadiums and in football situations. And you can change it also here. Just to show it to you, I will add it here to the horizontal. So, because there is also one another interesting feature. It's a little bit very specialized in the no. I have here trouble with this mouse. We have here also now, in the past, it was only the possibility if you create a table inside of Relux, you will have the rounding related. If you have a table, you can say, I want to have the tables with 1 decimal point or with 1 decimal or with no decimal point. And now we have changed this to that you can have the rounding behavior related to the type of value. So lux values will be use a different routing as, for example, the daylight factor and or the gradient values, which are new. And so this is also, it is a small detail, but it may have, in many cases, it relates to a lot of problems and discussions and so on. Okay, then also very interesting is the possibility or the problem or the thing is we have started now with a pole or with an arrangement with 3 luminaires, and then imagine that you have now the situation, oh, it is not enough, that I have not enough light or something like that. So you have easily the possibility here in this sports pole control easily to change the luminaires on side of your pole. So for example, I can switch here the luminaire to another type. So it is indicated by a different color of the arrow, and also here in my grid calculation. But I have also the possibility to add 1 more. So I started with 3, and then I add one row more, and then I can now just add here. No, sorry, I was too fast. I must press here the apply button, and then I can expand the sports pole arrangement by I can also, just a moment, please.
So it's possible to extend the luminaire array in
yeah, this, but at the moment my computer is blocked. Give me just a second.
We will. Yeah, it's also possible to move the arrays. Also, you can also create arrays without any pole. It's also possible to have just a free array if you have a larger stadium and do not need poles. You can put it onto the roof, and you are quite free in the arrangement of the arrays. You can have blind spots in the array. You can change the luminance in the array, and we try to have a mirror of this array type below in this area to having and free access and to edit and to change and to add and so on in this field. Yeah, of course, you need to know that it's possible to add there in line or in row to this element. And you can also, as we have seen, change the control groups. So you want to have another luminaire dimmed with another group. You can then also change the control groups of this complete array. And of course, you can copy the array and have multiple arrays copied into the scene, and you're not limited to what you have with this assistant. The assistance for the it's just for having a starting point. You can also, by the way, putting the assistants twice, and then you have the corner poles, and you can also have additionally in the middle of the line also some additional poles. You can do the assistant for pole placements again and again, and adding more positions or copy the poles and making your own pole positions direct in the scene.
Okay, we are back. We can also use this this control to easily select the luminaires in the arrangement. So there is sometimes not everything is perfect here. We have a little bit to work on it, but however it works. I have a lot of trouble with this mouse at the moment. So also a lot, one point which a lot of users ask for, is it possible that to have the poles not really symmetrical? In the beginning, I start now and have a symmetrical arrangement of my poles around here, my measuring, about my sports field, about my measuring field. But I have also the possibility here now to select the pole. I have also can click here on lock on aiming. If this is locked, then I can shift my pole a little bit to the side. Now it is on the side, but here the arrows are still on the same places. I remove this locking, and if I now go to the luminaires and to the adjust mode, it will still work also for this pole, which is not longer on the same position. So it mirrors the aiming points, not the luminaire positions in the array. So this was also a request by many people of our users, and so this will also be possible to do this. Okay, then also it is possible then to run the calculation for all. Sorry, here for all the light scenes, and then it will calculate here as well the light scene 2 and 1 and 2, maybe 3. The 3 comes from my first point. As I told you, there is we have a small bug inside of this version, so it calculates 3 times the same, but it is related that the setting will not, the setting window has a small problem about this. And therefore, then we will have all the light scenes in separate results here in the output tree. Then we will have here the light scene 1. Actually, is in the background, it's calculating the light scene 2. And then we have also the light scene 2, and so on and so on.
Also, of course, the results tab is also working if you have the space.
Yes,
we have also seen
working
directly the results. If it's finished, I guess.
Yeah.
Then you can also see that it's color marked. If you
so there it is color marked, and at the moment I have not a realistic project, so everything will be red, but it is also related to the light scene, to my active light scene. Then I will have here now the control about the light scene 2, the nominal values of the light scene 2, and here, as I told before, I have the link between the luminance classes from the standard to my light scenes. Also, we will have here in an output a summary of all the light scenes in the light scene 2. Then maybe if you use the light scene 3 and so on. Okay. That is what I want you to show. We are still working on this to fix, mostly fixing some minor features are still missing, and but we are looking forward that this will be finished soon. And now let's take a look to if there are any questions.
There are questions. I'm starting with the first one. Is sports lighting module, is it part of a free package, or will it be a paid add-on? And yes, it will be a paid add-on for, let's say, for the more heavy features. We will have a split. We will have parts of the features for free. So for example, the arrays of luminars is, for example, for free. But the access of all the spot fields and to the standard is under a paywall. So it needs to have a license on it. But we have in the beginning, we will have an test license where you can have an evaluation on this for, I guess, 7 days or something. Yes, so it will be an add-on which you need to pay if you want to have the full range covered. The next question, will we have the possibility to add and save custom classes with customized grids and performances to reach? Klaus.
Yes, it is the target to implement this, but I cannot promise that this will be in the first step available. This is a little bit related to the other bugs and features we are working on. But it is on the developing list, and if it is not available in the first step, we will implement it soon. So it was the next developing stop after finalize the points I've shown you. It will be to have more flexibility in the amount of standards, and then also at least customizable standards.
Okay, can you turn off and on mirrors at X and Y independently?
Yes, it will be possible.
Yeah, in the properties you have ticks for.
Yeah, it's in the properties of the mirror group, and there it should work. I guess there is also a small bug at the moment inside of the beta version, but this is one of the bugs we have to fix.
Okay, is shadowing between floodlights bodies being taken in account?
It is related how you do use the setting inside of the program of the program. In this kind of real-time calculation, you have the option to use the shadowing or not the shadowing. So because this is related a little bit to the performance of this kind of calculation. And in many situations, it is not necessary to check all the time this shadowing and also the reflection. And for that reason, you can switch it on or off to have more or less performance. At least you will, for the final results, you make the standard calculation as you do it, and there you have the option to set the shadowing between the floodline bodies on or not.
Can you use it indoor as well, in case
yes,
it's also possible to have
yes, I forgot to show in the place where I can select the standards. I have just shown the outdoor, but we have there a second combo box where you can switch between outdoor and indoor, and then you will have also special measuring fields for indoor light situations.
Okay. You have option to lock separately floodlights, angles, and aiming points, right?
It is also on the feature list. It will not be available in the first step because it is linked to another process or another developing point related to the GLDF format. But together, when this will be solved, it will also be a functionality to have a limit that the angles will be limited, so that you can also for any automatism and also for the clicking. But in the first step, you can control it, but you have not. There is not thing. Okay.
Yes, a tennis-specific question. If calculating a tennis court, can Relux calculate the lighting levels to the TPA and PPA areas at the origin version of Dialux can do? LTA lighting specifications, the LTA minimum maintenance average lighting specifications for tennis courts are principal playing area. So we have here an PPA in tennis with an 750 lux and a uniformity of 0.7, and the total playing area in TPA with 600 lux. So we have at the moment we have just the EN 12193 implemented. We have not the tennis specific association rules into it, but this is something for our wish list to extend it. And it's nice to see, by the way, that tennis has their own playing areas, because this is in the 1293 not really good described with TA and PA. So it will be something for later. So next one, I'm getting bigger lost because we have a lot of questions. So thank you for all these interests. Next one in my list is there a separate documentation section for mounting angles and positions of the luminaire? I'm not sure. We have it in the lower area and in the properties by the luminaires, so the angles, and this is something we need also to putting in the output.
Yeah, it's a very interesting point, and I remember in one of the first drafts of our feature list years ago, when we want to start with tunnel, we have such a feature. I have it put it back on the feature list, but we must decide if we put we put it back on let's say in the second step or something like that, to have this functionality.
Can you change the size of the football pitch?
Yes.
So easy. Also, I have to say, can we change it?
Yes, it's a little bit. It's a little bit a problem in the standard in the 12193. We have one, for example, for the football field, there is a size for between 100 and 108. And for 100 and 108, we have a specific kind of variance in the grid points. But you are not limited to this. You can also create a football field which is just 90 meters. In that case, we will use a switch to the formula, like which is also described in the standard. But it is a little bit tricky for us to have this implementation. But in summary, we can say yes, it is possible to change the size of the football area.
It is. It must be possible to swap the positions of the luminaires within the groups in order to optimize their placement on the tower and avoid shadow effects. So the question is an request.
Yeah, it's an interesting request.
Swapping.
But we will put it on our feature list. But it's thinkable and it is possible, and but it's not existing at the moment.
Yeah, a good point. Thank you, Leonardo.
Yes, but it's yes, it's an interesting point.
Next question is, I believe BSEN 1293 is currently under review. This is right. I'm also in the review committee. I'm the chairman of the German part of the standard. And yeah, I will not spoiler so much, but yeah, we will review it completely, and potentially, just potentially, the TA area is going to be away, that we have just one area. The TA, PA is not being in the next version of it, just we have one area and not two of them, which is beneficial for a lot of guys, especially if you want to measure the stuff. So in calculations, this is not a big question, but in on-site measurement, this is hell to have this both fields to evaluate. Next question, can you enter a symmetrical arrangement as a point source with multiple floodlights as opposed to an array? So I do not need to select the fitting in a row and aim it.
Yeah, this is the same question we have before, haven't it?
Then it was twice in it.
Yes, I guess. Yes, it is. I repeated it. I repeated it. It's an interesting point, and we will take a look if we can implement it.
Next one is new. Can the aim points be connected to a real XY coordinate? In a way, there are in a real, but you cannot enter it, I guess, the aiming points.
Yes, the aiming points. Maybe it will be helpful to send us a short email up and with a little bit more this detailed description how this should work. You have the possibility to choose an aiming point, which is just a real XY coordinate. And when you don't change if you don't change something, then it will stay on this point.
Okay. Can you please specify what will be the difference between the paid add-on and the standard version? I would love to, but I do not have the overview right now here. So we are having some kind of a matrix, what will be on and what will be not on. In general, everything, just in general, everything which is for, let's say, in community sports, for an wider, normal, smaller sports events will be for free. Also, the existing 3 playing areas we have, football, tennis, and racetracks, this will be also still included with the new version of it. But everything which going to televised, to bigger arrangements, to bigger arrays on the pole, this will be under the paywall in rough. There are details coming in the announcement of this sports package in sales. So I guess I'm a bit of lost where we are. Here I am. It must be possible to distinguish whether the aiming arrows of the luminars represents the orientation of the luminar body in direction perpendicular to the glass, or the direction of the maximum intensity. It should be also be possible to switch between these 2 reference and models.
There is yes, there is already a hidden feature inside of it, Leonardo, and but we will take care that this will be more on a setting side. That you can set it directly, so that you don't have to click all the time and change it manually by luminaire by luminaire by luminaire.
Yeah. For the RD index, it would be useful to have an arrow including the direction of that value.
We have already this on our list. It's one of these features. What I could not promise that we will have it in the first step, but it is still on our on the feature list, and already we have prepared the essential background information that we can draw this arrow, but we must create this this output. But it's a very interesting point, and it's we have seen from another program. It looks really nice that you can you see from which direction the glare is coming from, and so that you can easily react on the problematic luminaires.
Okay, we have just time for one other, because we have really much questions. So really thank you for this interest. Last question, which I guess is interesting: can you add cameras to the calculation?
Yes, of course. In the same way as we can do it in Relux, in every kind of Relux.
Okay, good. Then we have a couple of questions also to the release date. We hope to have it in November. It depends also on the beta feedback, issue fixing, and we hope to be ready in November to have it available, and we hope, of course, that you use it a lot and still telling us what you want to have, what you are missing in features, in standards, and we will going to extend it step by step. Okay, that's all. Sorry for all the questions which is not answered.
Yes, there was some. We have some jumped over because they are duplicated, or we have. Oh, sorry for that. We haven't realized it. But if you still have more questions, we will please send us an email to support@relux.com, and then we have more possibilities to give you an answer about this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Next episode, Klaus. What is the next episode?
Next episode will be on the 27th of November, and the topic is GLDF tools. So something totally different to that what we have today. It is a little bit more for the luminaire manufacturers, but it may also be interesting in some points for the users, so they will see what's the the possibilities and the problems and the features of GLDF files are.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thanks much for your attention, for your questions. Fantastic. And yeah, see you in the next episode. Yeah.
Yes.
Goodbye.
Looking forward to see you. Bye.
Bye-bye.